Friday Night Rivals recap starts now.
Welcome into our Friday Night Rivals post-game show, back for week 3, but just our second Friday with a full collection of high school football action across Central Illinois. And you know where we start, that's with our game of the week, and this time over at Sacred Heart Griffin as they hosted Jacksonville. The Crimsons trying to start the year 3-0. So how'd things unfold? Cyclones and Crimsons duking it out under the lights and right into the action. Cam Brinkman over the top, money, touchdown. Cyclones, the Crimsons, they had a quick response. Ball given here on the end around, navigating through traffic, and it's Jacksonville in for 6. But this one, Sacred Heart Griffin's night. And their second half especially, Mike Grosh, the sophomore, finds his way into space and then all turf as far as the eye can see. Touchdown for Sacred Heart Griffin. And with that, I now have to hand things over to Spencer Davis, who has an update on our trophy presentation with tonight's winner, Sacred Heart Griffin.
Enjoy the win.
Now, while Sacred Heart Griffin and Jacksonville games had our focus, we transition now to the other action across the area. First, staying within the conference as Springfield High and Lanphier battled it out at Memorial. Lanphier Lions, the home team, as they take on the Senators. Springfield High 2-0 entering the night. The Senators up 44-0 at the break. Lanphier trying to claw back into this one. Handoff, Ajian Lee, he picks up a nice gain. Going back to Lee, and he's going to wiggle his way through some traffic for the first down. The momentum slowed down. A mishandled snap. It would be covered here by Yusuf Perry. Now, before this action here, throw to the right side to Shaughnessy Hatchett, who's going to be taken down by Declan Brown. And now, not Declan, but DeAndre Brown. He's going to catch the punt, and he's off to the races all the way. Touchdown down the sideline, and Springfield High makes it 3-0 on the year, winning 51-12. And some action from down in Quincy. Springfield Southeast heading down to take on Quincy Notre Dame. And unfortunately for Southeast, they got a heavy dose of Ivan Hunt. One big gain after another for Quincy Notre Dame's back. One first down, make it 2. And when it comes to the third handoff, it's going to be pay dirt for this guy. He's going to get this on the next one right here, right up the middle, right through the heart for the Quincy Notre Dame touchdown as they continue to build their lead. Final in this one was all Quincy Notre Dame, finishing 43-0. We now take a break from the schools on the Springfield side of the market, and we take a look at the action around Champaign. And for that, we go to our Carson Gordy, who has the latest from a few games on that side. Carson.
The Mohammed Seymour Bulldogs were looking to avoid that dreaded 1-2 start, hoping that their high-powered offense could carry them once again at home field. But the undefeated Sycamore Spartans, they're no slouches, and they came ready to play after a 2.5-hour road trip down south. The Bulldogs came in averaging 50 points per game, but it was the Spartans who set the tone early with a ground-and-pound rushing attack, fighting for that extra yard before cashing in on a touchdown on a fullback dive. All of a sudden, it's 14-0 Sycamore late in the second quarter. Quarterback Lucas Dyer and the Bulldogs needed to start barking. Dyer bought some time on 3rd and long before finding his man down the middle, making a couple moves before ending up in scoring position. Facing a 4th and short, Dyer and the offense tried to fool the Spartans with a quick pass, but the defense didn't buy it. Sycamore headed into halftime with a 2-touchdown lead. Over in Champaign, the Centennial Chargers looked to avoid that hangover after knocking off rival Central last week. Taking on the Richwood Knights, the Chargers defense stepped up big, and they made sure that they improved to 2-1. The Charger offense was unusually quiet in the first half, up only 7-0 at halftime. But the defense took matters into their own hands, forcing a quick punt to begin the third quarter. The offense woke up. Centennial running back Zier Aker slicing up the Vikings for 6. Vikings desperately needed a scoring drive to stay within striking distance. But another fumble gave the Chargers the ball right back. And you could tell they were excited to give all-star quarterback Kellen Davis a shot in the end zone. Davis rolling out. Is he going to pass it? He's scrambling. Davis, stop it! Stop it! He makes a couple moves and gets in for 6. Centennial flying high on Friday night.
Now, welcome back to our Friday Night Rivals post-game show. We talked about the game of the week and checked in with Carson. Now it's time for the rest of the action around the Springfield area. And to get things going, we start with the Bullets. Now, Williamsville originally no game scheduled for week 3, but they fill it with Byron, the reigning Class 3A champion. We're going to start out here with Andrew Talbert, the QB keeper, and he's going to bounce it around to the left side and win the foot race all the way to the end zone. 4-6. Touchdown, Byron. Now, tricky formation proving to be fatal for Williamsville as Caden McGo takes the handoff and powers it into the end zone. Byron keep mixing things up on defense, and with a surprising pass over the defense to Braden Knoll, the untouched touchdown, and Williamsville unable to keep those good times going as the reigning Class 3A champion takes the win over the Bullets, final 41-3. And Rochester coming off a loss to Cardinal Ritter, while Lincoln 2-0, 2 dominant victories to start the season over Springfield Schools. Tanner Beal rolls out to the left and is going to find number 16, Mason Jacobs, unaccounted for in the end zone. Rochester's first score of the game. Now Rochester continuing to roll. Rail Splitters Elijah Carlson throwing to Mason Jacobs on the 10-yard line. He's going to get into that end zone easily, and he's going to make it 14-0. Rockets next drive, Corbin Gregory splits the defense right down the middle for the long touchdown. A commanding 21-0 Rochester lead. Now Rochester back on track, and the Rockets, they dominate in this one. Final score 63-7. Now the Pretzels looking to keep the ball rolling as they hosted Porta 2-0 for them at New Berlin. And the Blue Jays within one score, but the Pretzels on the goal line, well, they hand it off to Clark Nelson. What else would you do? And he does what Clark Nelson does. Touchdown, New Berlin. And now for Porta. Lane McAnally, he drops back and throws it left side, but Isaac Reneker can't come down with it, broken up by Brady Cruz. Now back in scoring position for New Berlin, handoff. Wait, even I got faked out by this one. It's Brady Cruz on the outside, the quarterback keeper, and he is in for 6. New Berlin, they would convert the 2-point conversion to Nelson and would roll in this one. Final score 59-16. Now, one of my favorite storylines of the day, a Sangamo battle, even more so a battle of the Trojans. Maroa Forsyth taking on Auburn. Auburn's Jack Jones throws it to Carter Hunley, who's going to run it down the sideline, still going before being dropped after a big gain. Now, Maroa Forsyth, Ryan Shepard, he's going to come back, and he's going to drop back to try to find Zach Smith, and he's going to run it into some space. A nice open field gain, well past a first down. Maroa Forsyth now going to go back here to Ryan Shepard in the pocket, and he's going to hand it off to Canton Wilson, who's going to be in for 6. Touchdown, Maroa Forsyth. They're up 43-0, and Maroa Forsyth, they make it 3-0 to start the season, winning the Battle of the Trojan. And also a shout out here to Grant Smith, who recently received an offer from the University of Illinois, and a big accomplishment for him. And 2 teams needing to get on the right foot in week 3. Pleasant Plains taking on Athens, who featured on Friday Night Rivals last week. Davis Ishmael, he's going to be tackled there by Felix Hell after a little bit of a gain. Now Gage Hahn running, and he would find some nice space, a really good gain, but tackled downfield. This one would be a serious battle throughout. The Cardinals finding a way to score a little bit later, and it would be Grady Grisham, who's off to the races for a Cardinal touchdown as you see him split into the open field right there. This one coming down to the wire, our closest game so far. This one does go in favor of Athens, final 26-21. And time for our final highlight of the night. I can take a breath momentarily. More action from Decatur as Eisenhower hosted Glenwood. It's going to be Colton Nodler. He hands it off here to Seven, who runs it. Nice gain there before being dropped. It's going to be Needler. He's going to hand it off again, waiting in the pocket and finding space on the left side, and another nice gain there. Now Needler, he's going to drop back looking for Jonathan Helm, and he's going to have him, and it's going to be a Glenwood touchdown. They make it 6-0, and the final score in this one, it was all Glenwood. The Titans win this one 56-14. And welcome back to our Friday Night Rivals post-game show. We are nearly finished with our show here in week 3, but to close things out, we talk about our plays of the night. First up, my play of the night coming from that Springfield High game, and this one coming on the first play with the ball for the Senators in the second half. Ball is punting to DeAndre Brown, and the junior, he takes it all the way to the house, down the sideline, all the way for 6. That one coming as a part of a big day for the Springfield Senators, grabbing their third straight victory to start the season. And for Carson's favorite play from the night, coming from the Champaign side of the market, we already knew Centennial quarterback Kellen Davis was a dual threat, but come on, the senior slices and dices the Richwood defense for an easy touchdown as Centennial improves to 2-1. And now that puts a wrap on our Week 3 here of Friday Night Rivals, another incredible night of high school action here in the area, and we are back for post-game next week. No night off. But that does it for sports and for FNR. I'm Sammy St. Jean. Have a wonderful night.